The Vaingate Chronicles, episode number 28. With Milford Brixton dead, Gudael's adopted brother Wren imprisoned at the Sufferance, and the companions in mourning, Gudael is now being shoehorned into some kind of arranged marriage by her elders. Presently, our players are deeply embroiled in the initial stages of a plan to break their beloved cleric Gudael's adopted brother Galandal Ren Talandaran from the most secure prison in the world of Shadar, the Sufferance. To this end, they have secretly sought assistance and have found themselves in the company of one Illanis Lia Firehel, commander of the Red Guard, the Wardens of the Sufferance. But what is the Sufferance? Hundreds of feet high, above the elven city of Hemiterith lays an ancient prison complex said to be impenetrable. The Sufferance is a prison like none other. Its now flooded foundations were laid down by the giants in the First Age, aeons ago. Since that time, the first descendants of the primal elves, during what is now known as the Second Age, constructed a mythal, a magical field that surrounds the complex's labyrinthine canals, walls, and ancient broken towers, a field which nullifies, banishes, or restricts all arcana within its purview, stifling spells, artifacts, and other magic not permitted within its bounds. Further, each inhabitant of this ancient magical jail is imprisoned not in a cell, but upon a small, isolated, low-lying island all of their own, cut off, where they must toil to survive, where every crop is hard-won, where good behavior earns privileges such as seeds, eggs, tools, and livestock to survive their hardships. It is upon such an island where Galandal Ren Talandaran, adopted brother of Gudael, that is to say the adopted brother of Joanna's cleric, also known as Dala, resides, and it is his freedom that our companions seek on behalf of their beloved Gudael. But breaking in or out of the Sufferance is a nigh impossible task, a task never before accomplished. The Sufferance is said to house more dangerous beings too. Besides the political prisoners of the usurper king, a litany of innocents whose only real crime was to know too much. If the rumours are to be believed, the list of the damned includes drow warlocks, Orcan warband leaders, an evil sorcerer known as Razek the Dwagar Seer, confirmed to have murdered hundreds of Banakayan dwarves, as well as some other dissidents of the Underdark. Bedtime stories for children as far away as Vanderhold mention the Sufferance too. They speak of a terrifying and alien creature with many eyes, known as Zargax, and a being known as the Mind Flayer. Under the stewardship of these mysterious Red Guards, once known as the Order of Barad Shah, the Sufferance is said to be a place of angst, toil, and terror, a nightmare full of hopeless damned souls tortured by their slowly ever-failing memories of past lives, and the monstrous guardians of the deep canals, the ancient broken walls, the ruined towers, and the muddy banks littered with petrified statues of those who failed to escape their madness, or who simply gave up hope. For it is said that these condemned to the Sufferance are condemned to madness, a madness that only the most stalwart ever survive, if not escape. The rest fall prey to the monsters of the deep, the basilisks that roam the shores, or worse, the ancient and invisible guardians themselves, prisoners of the mythal, guardians whose elemental fury is said to be contained only by the ancient seals of the primal elves of the Second Age. And it is thus, with the aid of Illanis Lia Firehel, rector of the Sufferance itself, that our companions hope to find a way to gain access to poor Wren. Bear witness now as we return to the Vaingate Chronicles. I'm Russell Kirkby, and I would like to introduce Steve Austin as Leith Mistralath, Barry Tahira as Orikaw.
Hello.
Joanna Grotenhouse as Gudael Dala Talandaran, and Michael Bates as Adrik Fogda.
We can take over for you for the moment, because we have a couple announcements. First and foremost, friends, the hour is drawing upon us. Our time to save poor dear Milford Brixton is coming to a close. There's only a few scant days with which to bring him back from the shores of the Shadowfell. And the only way to do... Yes.
a few scant minutes. We have 15 minutes left.
We have 15
to save
minutes,
Milford.
as Steve said, to save poor Milford Brixton. Currently, we are sitting at maybe halfway. I can't see the thing because it's not on.
We're currently at 40%. We've raised 6,000 divinity.
6,000 of 15,000. Kind people, if you want to see our dear main character return, maybe give us some divinity, because you're the only ones that can do it. Unless some Deus Ex Machina happens, but whatever, that's not going to happen. That doesn't happen in real life, and this is real life.
Basically real life.
Yeah. So, bring Brixton back to us, because he's going to be very cool, as he always has been.
BBB, bring back Brixton.
Bring back Brixton. Damn right.
Yeah.
BB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, more announcements? Anyone else have announcements? Yeah.
Yes. Last week I said that our latest episode would be available on Monday, and it wasn't. I think it went live today.
Oh.
And I'm currently working on the episode, actually, the one where we lost Milford. And I would say, if you are the type that likes to play drinking games, do not take a shot every time we reference Milford leaving the stream, because it was surprising how many times somebody said something to the effect that Milford was dying or he was retiring or something. It's a crazy episode. So
Sort of spooky in that respect, huh?
very much so. So yeah, hopefully that will be live or up and running next week.
Right. And I actually have to apologize. I said I was going to have that live today, and I didn't get a chance. I had a nap instead.
How dare you rest?
I know. So I will get that up either tonight or tomorrow morning. In any case, it will be there.
I like having a well-rested DM, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All I need now is water before I die of scratchy throat. I might have to do that if we're going to play for 4 hours, 3 hours, however long we play for.
And
As I say in Korea, you have to hail hydrate before you play.
Right, so while I'm hydrating, I'm going to leave it to you guys to tell our wonderful audience all about gaming for charity.
Yes, well, now that he's away, we cannot talk about gaming for charity. I jest. Gaming for charity is a really, really cool little, or big charity that helps kids who are in hospital, who dearly need the help. And unfortunately, we do not have clerics in the real world that can just point a finger at somebody who's ailing or a little unhealthy or very unhealthy and make them more better. Unfortunately, we have to rely on this really weird thing called money. And so if you have a spare bit of cash rolling around your account or your pockets or whatever,
$1,000 here and there.
$1,000 here and there, it was a petty cash, stuff that you have lying around. Just throw it at these kids, because they could really use it, especially if you enjoy us.
Or if you don't.
Or if you don't enjoy us, if you want to shut us up, give them money. Side note, Russell and I are also taking part in a big, huge 24-hour stream on the 28th and 29th of August with the Yes and charity stream. So have a look at that. They're on Instagram and Facebook, and it should be a really good time. There's about 40 different people taking part in this huge stream. This big-ass marathon. Russell, I cannot find the link for Gaming for Charity to post it in the chat.
Okay.
Would you be so kind?
I will post it into the thingamajig very shortly.
Very good, chaps. Speaking of links, because he's not here tonight, Max would normally be the one to push out his own writing. His absolutely wonderfully kept blog from Edryn Montkoff's point of view of the events of this stream. So I've popped the link to the blog in the over there.
Cool
thing.
Right. I see it, and it looks good.
I'm pointing the wrong way. That way.
That's better. And those of you who are watching on YouTube, we will do our damnedest to post them down there, because you won't be able to see them over there.
Or if you're watching on mobile, they're also down there currently. So.
Right. All of those things.
There's nothing to see up there.
Unfortunately, No, there's nothing
Unless
up
you've
there.
got a really weird computer setup that you've bent the screen around it, and that's non-Euclidean, and we don't play with that kind of space here.
Right, that's true. So yeah, as mentioned, Edryn Montkoff, Max Easy, presently he is getting paid to work as an actor, by the way.
He's a real actor.
He's a real actor. So he's not here, but we're leaving his little screen and his box up there as a reminder that he's part of the crew and that we miss him.
He is with us.
He's with us
Part
in
of the
spirit.
show, part of the crew.
Right, exactly. So, you guys were sitting in a tea house, the name of which is the Arvandor Teahouse in Hemiterith, also known as Highbrook, the High Elven city at the far end of the Lockhart Valley, high above the Lockhart Lake, looking down across the forests of the Lockhart Valley. You can see the Three Mothers in the distance from the window of this tea house. Three Mothers being these huge world trees that grow up out of the forest in the city of Leith, dozens of miles away. So, and from this point, you're sitting with a lady who has come in to meet with you, whose name is Illanis Lia Firehel, who you understand is the High Commander of the Red Guard and the Rector of the Sufferance, the very place that you wish to break into, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And as she's come into the room, you've noticed the people in the location in the tea house have gone very quiet, and it's. Can you all make perception checks for me, please? Right, so with your rather exceptional perception rolls, which I'm looking at here, we have a 14 from Adrik, a 14 from Gudael, a 12 from Leith, which is not amazing. So, what
like
you
gaslighting
noticed,
myself.
those of you with now let's try and get ourselves into the scene. There's a bard playing on a harp in the tea house. The name of the tea house is the Arvandor Teahouse. Now, those of you who are elves will certainly know what that means. Arvandor is the sort of ancestral home of the elves. It's a different plane of existence. It's part of potentially part of the Feywild. So it's where primal elves came from, and from where they cannot return since Sehanine Moonbow was destroyed by the comet Parkard many thousands of years ago. And so the elves have been locked out of their ancestral home, and they cannot return to it. When they die, they will not be able to reincarnate because there is no access to Arvandor. But this tea house is called the Arvandor Teahouse. And you're sitting here with the head of the Red Guard, who is this platinum blonde woman wearing armor with red highlights all through it. And she has the most kind of, when she moves, she reminds you of liquid metal. There's something about her that seems she's very hyper aware of everything, both socially and kind of tactically as well. Adrik, you'll particularly notice that aspect of her. She's looking around, you see her eyes dart about. And as you're sitting there with her and you notice the room go quiet, you'll notice it's partly because of her presence, partly because of her status, partly because of what she's wearing. But there seems to be an otherworldly quality that takes part of this scene as well. And she looks across at you, and Leith...
Oh! With 3 minutes to go, we've got another 6,000 resurrection points in the challenge.
Hey, 3,000 to go, guys. Come on.
Wow.
Yep.
Milford Brixton, you might make it back. You don't have long.
3 minutes.
We've got 5,000 to go. Oh, hang on.
5,000 to go.
8,000 from 15,000. There's my maths.
Well,
Okay, I can't count either.
8. We're at exactly 50%.
50%? Are you nearly there? Well,
think-
kind of nearly there. So do I extend this challenge for another week, or do I cut it?
53% raised.
Interesting question. What to do? So,
End of the stream, maybe.
yeah, and maybe at the end of the stream we can vote and think about it. Or
Well, probably best to extend it now because we only have 2 minutes.
that's true. All right.
Orikaw, how do you feel about this this here elf tea? It's not it's a bit fruity for me.
Well, you wouldn't have had it either, Ulrika. It's rather good. Try the elderflower.
All right, I'll believe you. Let me try. I can't get my finger through the little cuppy thing.
Oh,
Oh, it just-
don't mean that. Just
How about thusly? And Adrik brings his head down and wraps his mouth around the ceramic and tips his head back to throw the entire thing to the back of his throat.
The thing is, you haven't got tusks, you see. That's going to
I'm
cause a
terribly
problem.
sorry for the behavior of my compatriots.
No, Illanis, you give it a go too. Well, just it's an initiation. That's why we're doing this to Orikaw. Usually it's a tankard of ale.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, rather than trying to extend this, what I will do is I'll start a new challenge at the end of the stream, which will be half. You'll only require half the amount of divinity to complete that challenge, whatever's remaining at the end of the show. Okay? And I'll give you a few minutes to sort that out. I'm just not sure I can start it during the stream like this. It's a bit tricky.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay, so let's return back to things. Right, so you're sitting there with this lady, and you're talking about your tea and what have you, and there's this otherworldly sense that you begin to take from the room about you as you're sitting there with this lady. Gudael, can you make a history check, please? Leith, you can make the
Certainly.
same history check, actually,
okay.
while we're at it. While we are at it, yes.
Dirty 20.
A dirty
One.
20.
All I'm rolling tonight is 12s.
Wow.
It
Okay.
would seem.
Well, Gudael, as far as you are aware, in your memory, this particular individual that you are currently sitting before, this lady Illanis of the Firehel, their bloodline has died off. She's the last remaining member of this particular family, and she has been the rector of the Sufferance for hundreds and hundreds of years, as long as anyone can remember. The only other thing that you know particularly about her, besides the fact that she's normally quite secretive and she doesn't spend much time with people, she spends most of her time devoted to her job. And this is all information that you've garnered just having been a member of the Talandaran family and around your father, who's the head of the Blackguard. The other thing that you know is that she has a symbol around her neck, which is that of a silver dragon. So yeah, and she looks across at you all and she says, things are not as they seem.
Oh,
I should say not.
They really are.
She says, you may believe that the Red Guard is some small part of the larger order, but this is not true. Our sovereignty has been about for many hundreds of years longer than the Blackguard. The Blackguard has been a discontinuous line of authority that has presumably extended from the king, but this is not the case. This has largely been constructed by our present ruler. Do you understand?
So
Aye, so
King
it's-
Darian did not have blackguards.
He did not. There were no Blackguard. There has been no Blackguard for perhaps 1,000 years.
Are you implying that there were blackguards before that?
There were, in name, and they served the king. This is true. But they were perhaps not of the quality that we see today.
And what quality were they? Just a simple personal guard rather than the stormtroopers that they are currently.
You might say something to that effect, yes, Mr. Fogdar?
Aye.
Yes. Now, your contact found me and has told me that you are asking questions about the Sufferance. I understand, Lady Gudael, that your very own adopted brother finds himself within the walls of our illustrious prison.
Yes, he does. Surely you must be aware of him. Nobody would go into the Sufferance without your
Approval?
knowing. Approval, yes.
You would think that I would have to approve every individual that ventured into the Sufferance, but this is simply not the case. I am unfortunately bound by oaths to work with the Blackguard and the King, and thusly I, unfortunately, am required to suffer many less than convenient or otherwise ideal circumstances. Thus it is that when the king or even your dear father, Elandor, requires an individual to be placed within the Sufferance, there is a short trial of which I have no control. In fact, I am banned and barred from it as the rector of the Sufferance. It does not seem to be proper justice if the jailer themselves is made a part of the process of justice. Does that make sense to you?
I believe I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure if I agree with the
Yes,
reasoning.
perhaps it is a different question as to the ethics and the reasoning of it, but this is simply the case. So I explain by way of fact, this is how it is.
I see. But the Red Guard has existed prior to...
The Red Guard has existed for a very long time. We find ourselves now in a situation where we are under the direct authority of the Blackguards and of your father. However, we are able to maintain a certain amount of sovereignty of our own. The Blackguards do not particularly venture within our confines. Their jobs lead them elsewhere, outside of the Sufferance. In the city, perhaps in the countryside, and the other towns and boroughs of Shadar. But
Well,
the
that makes
Sufferance
sense,
is...
because to work in the Sufferance would be quite a specialized position, I would think.
It is an ancestral position.
And who would take over as rector after you?
An excellent question, Mr. Fogdar. I am sure that the High Council, the Suprema of Hemiterith, would take a vote, I imagine. I have my own preferences, and those that I have outlined, I have left letters and vaults with my personal preferences.
But you have no inclination that they will be honored, of course.
I'm sure they would not be honored.
Of course.
So, where exactly is it that you're visiting us today?
Because, Mr. Mistralath, and she leans forward, and as you do, you feel this, you have this impression like sound is compressing around you, like you're being squeezed into a bubble of silence. And as that happens, Leith, One thing that you do hear is the sound of hooves clopping around behind you. And you feel and sense Tozen next to your head.
Leith just leans in and tries to concentrate.
Tozen says, "Trust her, Mr. Leith. She is ancient and powerful, and not what she seems." And Illanis looks at you and watches your reactions, Leith. And she says, "You."
Leith instantly snaps out of it and goes, yes.
"You have been touched by the guardian of the forest."
That is not important right now. Why are you here?
I am here because our destinies cross over. I am here because we have intentions that have mutual benefit. I am incapable, due to oaths and laws and many other factors, incapable of acting against the king or the laws of this city as they are writ. However, within those laws, I am capable of providing you with some service and some information that may assist you in your quest.
Yes.
You will have to ask me the right questions, for I am not able to divulge information without it being essentially requested of me.
That should be fairly easy. Do you know where Ren is?
Of course.
Can you get us there?
I cannot personally get you there.
Can you give us a key to enter the mithril?
The Mythal? So
That
you
one.
are aware of the Mythal.
Yeah.
The Mythal itself is encoded in such a way that my oaths bind me to it, as are all the guardians of the Mythal, bound to the Mythal itself. Those of us among the Red Guard take such oaths that bind us, our names, our blood, our ancestry, our descendants' blood, is all bound to the Mythal. There are ways that we can pursue that will allow you entrance to the Mythal, and there are keys, and they are in the hands of the Red Guards. Yes.
So, which is more efficacious to us? Getting the keys or this formal method that you... I'm curious as to why you brought that up first when I asked about keys.
Out of game, I'm sorry.
Sorry, yeah, that was a bit serpentine. Adrik asked about keys, and then Michael/Adrik did note that we have ways to get you in, and there are also keys. So it's like, okay, well, you didn't. I asked about the keys, so it's weird that you brought this up.
Right. She looks across to you, Orikaw.
His eye does a Spock kind of thing.
There's
I
a raises
wonder why you're
an
looking at
eyebrow.
me, sort of thing. Yeah.
She says, you, Orikaw, you are the one. You have been within the Sufferance, you have seen the sights, you have travelled the byways of the canals. Why don't you tell your compadres what you have seen already?
Orikaw, is that true?
Yes. I took your brother to where he is.
Oh.
Your father could not do it.
Then you at least know the way.
Yes, I know exactly where he is.
Would not or would not?
Would not.
Why?
I am but a servant. He did not make me aware of his reasons.
But surely you've been in his employ for a while, so you could make an educated guess.
Could simply be the shame of it.
That's good enough for me. So, we have a guide, but what about the keys so that we can enter the mythal unhampered?
But there are many things to be aware of. There are creatures that will turn you to stone
Aye.
if you are in the wrong place.
Surely. However, in the event that we cross something that's not where it should be, perhaps we should be able to fight them off. I'm under the impression that the mythal blocks off magic, etc. We have 3 magic users in our midst.
Yes. My offer to you is simple. There is a tradition among the Red Guard that allows for certain types of religious organizations, clerics in particular, sometimes paladins, but most usually priests and priestesses, are allowed entrance into the Sufferance for the express purposes of visiting certain prisoners, inmates, to ironically, yes.
Attend to their spiritual needs.
Yes, precisely. Thank you, Lady Talandaran, for expressing this so succinctly. That is correct. And therefore, if you were to be some form of, or if you were to make an application to the Red Guard in order to take upon yourselves such a mission, you would be given access, most likely, to the prisoner that you seek.
Yes. Would he also have to make a request, or can I just request to speak to any prisoner I wish?
You can request to speak to any prisoner, but most likely the true outcome will be that you will be required to visit several prisoners.
Okay.
That seems reasonable.
The most likely outcome is that you will be required to visit between 5 and 8 prisoners.
8 prisoners.
I can make some recommendations as to who those prisoners might be, and I can make it somewhat more certain that one of those prisoners will be the one you wish to speak with.
That would be wonderful. Please, if there are prisoners who could actually use my services, that would be
Ideal,
preferable.
perhaps, yes.
Ideal.
I agree. That seems to be a very reasonable option. Now, when you travel to the Sufferance on this journey, you will be escorted to the Sufferance by the Black Guards, and you will be handed over to the Red Guards at the actual encampment. Out of game, brain. In fact, for those of you that are watching, here is a map of the Sufferance. The garrison, that's the word I was looking for.
Yay!
So if you can see the stream, this is the map of the Sufferance that we're presently using. And so, going back to our main screen. So you'll be escorted to the garrison by the Black Guards of King Errands, at which point you will be handed over to the Red Guards, who will do the escorting within the Sufferance itself. You will journey by boat through the canals to visit your various prisoners. The Red Guard will carry with them a key on the boat, which will allow them access and allow them to use whatever magic they require. Now, if you are required to use magic within the Sufferance itself, it may be that your names will need to be inscribed temporarily upon the keys.
That seems reasonable. Is there a process involved there?
Of course. Something that cannot be garnered easily, and I cannot disclose its process at this time.
Even a first step?
A first step, it requires a ceremony and ritual.
But there is no cost, eh?
There is no what? Apologies?
There's no cost.
Cost. There is no cost.
Ah, perfect.
No cost.
There will be a record, I suppose,
There will be indeed a record, yes.
which the Blackguard and the King would have access to.
They could have access to it. Of course, my organization has access and control over the bureaucracy of the Red Guard. Records sometimes get lost or are hard to find.
And also keep in mind, Dala, you're just doing your job.
Yes, but if my job results in unforeseen misadventures, well, it could further complicate matters down the road.
Indeed.
My lady, I have a few questions, if you would allow me.
Of course, Ulrika.
What if your father is ready for such a move as this?
We can pray that he is not. When you say ready for such a move as this, perhaps you can elaborate.
For her to try to get her brother.
I can have no part in that conversation. I am not in the privileged situation of being able to release prisoners. Those that have been placed within the Sufferance by the hand of the King are bound to be there, and it is not my place to free them. I can merely put you in contact with that prisoner if you were to follow these edicts and these suggestions. It is possible.
I have one other question, if I may.
Yes, Ulrika.
What do you do with your dead prisoners? Surely they die.
From time to time, prisoners within the Sufferance do die. Their corporeal remains are brought by boat back to the garrison and then returned to their families or returned to their whomever wishes to claim them. If they are not claimed within a reasonable amount of time, they are burned upon a pyre, and there are clerical rites that are performed.
When they are burned on the pyre, is that done within the Sufferance?
There is at the garrison a chapel.
And may the family be witnesses there, if they wish.
If there were a family, the likelihood is that the family would remove the remains and perform their own funeral rites at some other location. This pyre funeral situation would only occur if there was no family and no one to claim the remains.
So, if Ren was to die, you would tell his father and his father would come and get him, is that correct?
If Ren was to die, his father would be immediately notified, yes, and his father, given the status of his father as the supreme commander of the Black Guard, he would immediately be notified. At that point, Ilandor, I'm sure, would make some decision as to how he would wish to handle the situation, and he would either choose to have his adopted son brought home for a funeral, or, given what I know of the man, it may be that he would reject him outright at that point and deny him any sort of status, even in death.
Are you thinking what I think you're thinking, Orika?
I'm an orc. We never think. So, how long would it take excuse me, my lady. How long would it take Dala's father to get from where he is to the prison?
Not long. An hour, perhaps 2 hours at the most. It depends where he is and what it is that he is doing upon a certain day. And my question too would be, why would he necessarily go himself? He has many minions and followers, attendants, knights, soldiers.
I'm thinking if he sent me to take his son there, he may send me to pick up his son.
I see. You do understand that I cannot in any way endorse the notion of the murder of Galandel Talandaran, and murdering an inmate of the Sufferance would entail a heavy debt, most likely some sort of time within the Sufferance itself.
You know the place. What accidents happen there?
The truth is, my dear friend Orika, and she says that, and she looks totally sincere when she says that. She says the truth is, Orika, that most deaths occur within the Sufferance are some form of suicide. It is either suicide or a poorly considered escape attempt, for there is no escape of the Sufferance. The basilisks upon the shores and the banks of the canals will turn any creature to stone. The cockatrice will devour them. The creatures that are unspeakable within the waters of the Sufferance will steal their minds.
Anybody who visits, my lady, are they searched?
Of course.
Like I was.
Indeed, there will be a search, and there may possibly be an investigation or an interrogation, even a questioning.
Would they search Lady Talandaran?
Well, you see, my friend Orika, given the status of Lady Talandaran and her proximity to the Supreme Commander of the Black Guard as his daughter, it would require no less than my own personal dealings. I myself would have to conduct these searches and these interrogations to make sure that proper security and clearance was to be given.
Of course.
I would not entrust such a task to a lesser minion of mine.
I think this orc has an idea.
Aye.
But we cannot share it with you, my lady.
Of course.
Then you can have deniability.
You should keep your questions, well, you should ask your questions now and keep your ideas until you are ready to discuss them. But you should take this time that you have now with me, for I cannot spend much longer.
All right. Now, so a search is carried out.
Yes.
A thing is not found, and Rin goes to... Something happens to Rin.
A terrible accident, aye.
Yeah, a terrible accident.
Of some variety. We're not saying what.
And this can only be done by luck. with a bit of luck, certain people don't want to deal with it. Now, either myself or Lady Talandaran can volunteer to come and get the body of the poor said person and take it back.
I can say nothing.
Just as well. Is there any hole that you could think of if you were me?
I can give you only some warnings.
Yes.
Things that you should be careful to consider.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 guardians. The North Canal wall, you will find, bears an image of a giant named Amu Madrath.
Mm-hmm.
He represents the Earth Gate. The south wall, you will find there is an image of Inzuriax, and that is where you will see the Sufferance seal. Note this: if ever the Sufferance seal was to fall, Hemiterith would perish.
It would drown, literally.
Precisely. The
Drown?
Sufferance seal acts as the dam that holds the majority of the water behind its wall. The Sufferance seal bears the image of an adult red dragon in Zuriax.
Is this dragon entombed within?
This dragon is a guardian of the Sufferance, like all of the guardians of the Sufferance. Its name is bound into the mythal. It cannot leave the servants or the service of the Sufferance.
But what binds it to service? Surely it would just go on a rampage and slaughter everything within.
The magic of the Sufferance's mythal is extraordinarily powerful and was built with the assistance of the dragons. It was built by the primal elves themselves, the first elves here in Shadar. Ancient magic, the highest of magic, to which many of the elves themselves suffered the consequences, or chose to suffer the consequences. They gave their lives for the mythal. They knew the importance of containing some of the individuals within. You must understand that there are individuals within the Sufferance who must not be released. One of whom, or shall we say some of whom, are in fact the guardians themselves. This is their sentence for the crimes that they committed in the days of the First Age.
And having our names inscribed, as you detailed earlier, that would keep us safe from their gaze.
The keys themselves, there are 4 keys. You would have your names inscribed upon but one key, the key that related to the part of the prison complex that you would be traveling to. You would not be safe from the other guardians.
I see.
Unless you were to have your names inscribed upon all the 4 keys, a notion that is much more complicated.
I don't see why we'd need to venture into those areas if we're only going to perform a service in one.
Yes. I think it's only good to go for a single key. That's all we're really going to need.
The only key that you should need will be the East Gate key. In the east, at the garrison wall tower, the tower innermost to the canals, next to the garrison itself, there is a seal there inscribed with the name and image of Dael Dale Varoxus. This creature also is a dragon. This is the Air Guardian.
Out of curiosity, what variety of dragon, as we're talking about them?
She looks at you with a blank stare and she says, that is unknown to us.
So it's potentially more of an issue than Zurians.
Can you make an insight check, please?
I certainly can. Frost Rune, don't fail me now.
Let's see your insight check. A 19.
Spectacular.
That is
Most Gucci.
That is spectacular. Okay, well, with your brilliant 19, she's clearly knows something. She clearly knows something about this and is clearly not saying something about this, but she seems unconcerned.
I'm of the, not to poke the bear, so to speak, but I'm of the impression that you're keeping something from us. Not that I'm ungrateful for your assistance thus far, though just in case, forewarned is forearmed.
She looks at you for a long moment and she reaches up to her necklace, this amulet at her neck, which is an image of a silver dragon, and she clasps it. And as she does, you have this sensation of spinning, all of you, and the room twists and transforms like a mist swirling about you, and you find yourself standing on this, or even sitting on this mountaintop, looking down over the vast city of Hemiterith, the Sufferance, the Lockhart Valley, all of this. Clearly this is a magical vision. You know that for sure. You haven't been teleported. But you are now in some kind of private astral space, and you find yourselves able to speak without fear of being overheard or otherwise. You're in some sort of shared astral mind space. Does this make sense?
She's not with us.
She's with you.
Oh.
The table is still here, in fact. You're still sitting at your table with your cups of tea, but now you're on a mountaintop. And she takes off her... She pulls the amulet off, and she passes it across the table to you, Adrik. And she says, "This is all the clue that you need." And she blinks, and you notice her eyes change. And when she looks at you, Adrik, can you make a perception check, please?
So, man, I don't want to fuck this one up because it's real cool. Man, that bollocks that one.
I was just about to offer
Well, Adrik, you
guidance.
you can give him guidance if you like.
Yeah, I was going to offer to help just by sitting a bit closer.
Does guidance just adds an extra D4?
Adds a D4, yeah.
Right.
So let's see, what do you get with your D4? 2.
So that's
it's 11.
11?
All right.
Is that
Well,
good
that's good enough to actually notice that her eyes have
Yay.
basically changed, and you see her eyes have become these vertical vesicas, these slithers of silver light, metallic silver, and slightly draconic.
So your name, you're not Illanis, are you? You're... How do you pronounce that name again, Russell?
Dale Varoxus.
So am I correct in assuming that you are in fact Dale Varoxus?
I will never admit to such a thing.
Of course not. But perhaps you... You know, that's fine. That's fine. That's all the answer I need.
I can only help you so much. Understand this. But I should like to see justice done, and I should like to see the city restored. I should like to see Shadar returned to its former glory, And I should like to see, and she turns to you, Gudael, I should like to see your mission accomplished.
Thank you.
I speak
I
not just of
appreciate-
your brother. Understand this.
Oh,
She turns to you, Leith, and she says, give my regards to Tozen. You find yourselves sitting at the table in the tea house.
Yes,
She's gone.
He did.
Yo, what the fuck?
You see her walk out the door. You just see her silhouette leave the room, out into the sunlight, onto the street, disappear into the crowd.
did I just have another fit?
No, I was.
If you did, then we all did.
Adrik,
That was,
you've got in your hand an amulet of a silver dragon.
Yo, holy shit, that's so cool. No, that was, and he holds it up in front of everybody. That was quite something. We've got a mighty, mighty force on our side. Yeah. But also something that is. She's bogged down by laws, isn't she? That's alright. Now we've got a job to do, don't we?
Sure do.
Well, yes. I guess we do.
Who's going to make the appeal to the Red Guard to go and perform pastorally duties?
Well, I suppose that will be me.
You would be the only person that could, my lady.
Oh, Orikaw, you seem quite spiritual to me.
Oh, no.
Nah, good,
No,
good
no.
man.
If there's one thing I am not, it is spiritual.
Certainly very intelligent and strategic.
Yes. After claiming that you weren't particularly thoughtful, or at least your species wasn't particularly thoughtful, I thought you asked all the right questions, really.
Maybe I got lucky this week.
Maybe.
But we must find a place to make plans.
Right. Return to our lodgings then.
Yes, good idea.
You'd better buy stuff on the way, my lady. So at least there can be a reason for me to carry your parcels or something, if your father should show up again. Is there a
Yes.
place I could hide when that happens?
It is actually.
Yes.
There is?
Hey, what was the doorway in my room or Edryn's room?
It was Edryn's room.
There's a hidden passage in Edryn's room that you could just duck into.
All right.
So long as you're quiet. The gameskeeper is not the groundskeeper. Sorry, is not the patient sort. So just keep it down in that little corridor.
I understand. Show it to me when we get back.
No problem.
Let us go and shop your little heart out, my lady.
Dala, is there anywhere in the city that we could buy potions, and also somewhere that trades gold, gems for gold? I'd like to this ruby. I'd like to see how much it's worth.
So
Certainly.
Dala, sorry if I may interrupt, Dala, your knowledge of buying potions is that no respectable person would buy potions. And if they were, they would have to go to some sort of black market to do so.
Yes.
Oh shit.
That's right, because magic is somewhat outlawed here, Adrik, but I would imagine if we went back to the temple, there
Now-
must be someone who would know something about.
The thing with potions is that there is a very long history of magic among the elves, of course, and this is true for all magic, not just potions. The Black Guard certainly would like to confiscate all the magical things they could possibly get their hands on. However, trying to take these things off a bunch of ancestral elves, their ancestral stuff, their culture and so on, is a little bit trickier than that, and they're not just going to hand it all over. So the truth is you can acquire these things. It's just you're going to have to work a little bit harder than the Black Guards to do so.
I wonder if Vashti's friend could be of service.
Hey, I was just thinking of that.
I think that was
Hey,
his
we
name.
could just check in with Gelt, see if he's got any on hand.
Yes,
Just in case. 'Cause,
and probably the banking district for your ruby question.
Right, the civic district. Now, okay. So is that where you're planning to travel next? The civic center?
Do not
Right.
forget you have a dinner with your mother, my lady, and
Could
your
I?
father.
How could I?
well, maybe something exciting will happen and someone will cause a scene and then Orika can break something.
Orika, would you do that? That could liven it up a bit.
I
Hey,
am your servant, my lady.
Orika, why don't you just punch Elandor's horse or something? Just haymaker one to the flank.
That will probably be the last thing I ever do in my lifetime.
Alright, perhaps not that. It was just a humble suggestion.
Very humorous, Mr. Fogda.
Aye, that's it. Can I roll an insight check to see if he's just humoring me? If he actually thought that was funny.
Okay.
I got a 15.
A 15. Barry, were you humoring him or were you telling the truth? Did you think he was actually
I was humoring him.
right? Fair enough.
Mr.
You're so
Fogda is not a funny man.
Are you leaving? Are you leaving the Arvandor tea rooms at this point to travel to the civic center?
I reckon so.
Okay. The center of the lower quarters is dominated by the colossal features of the civic center, which include the enormous forum and various libraries, law, art, magic, religion, culture, etc., as well as the central hub of commerce stemming from the city's treasury, where the most famous elven currency, Ethereum or Electrum pieces, are minted and exchanged. As well as these important primary civic buildings, the civic quarter also contains any number of supporting establishments and locales, including upper-class taverns, bathhouses, inns, and fine boutique stores, markets, and houses. Here you will find the Forum, the Electrum Mint, the Royal Bank, the House of Civic Records, and many bathhouses, along with a number of other establishments.
Alright, so we can't take this to the bathhouses very well. The mint or the bank? Which one do you reckon, Dalla? I don't really deal in this.
Can I have you make all perception checks, please?
Hell yeah.
I would imagine the bank rather than the mint. Adrik. Okay.
18.
23.
16.
Wow. Okay. Leith and Gudael. That's very flash. Let me just look at everybody else's because I didn't get to see all of the rolls there.
think
23
Adrik won
from
that.
Adrik. Wow.
I know everything about rubies and money.
And Ulrika, I'll roll for you as well because we didn't get a roll from you.
Just came to you in a flash.
Ooh, a natural 20 though.
Ulrika knows more than I do.
Ulrika.
Wow.
Okay. Well. Ulrika, with your natural 20, you notice, and I think Adrik does too, you think you're being shadowed by somebody through the streets.
Yeah, Ulrika. Do you reckon we're being followed?
We are.
Aye.
You notice a
Yes.
figure moving on the rooftops.
There's a figure moving on the rooftop.
what I wouldn't give to throw Brixton onto the roof right now.
Why? What was he, a rogue?
Aye, but I could throw him. Bugger, I can't just get bigger. I hate this low magic stuff. Anyway, let's say we duck into an alley and lay down a little ambush for him.
Alright. Have you seen how big I am?
Oh, I'm sure if we just put them in a place where they feel they're advantageous, and they may or may not come down to us.
Alright. Alright then.
You're being quite secretive.
I'm just going to turn to them and just whisper, I believe we have a guest on the rooftops. Don't all look together. Use your peripherals. Have a quick look over my shoulder. I believe we're being watched.
Orikaw and Adrik, with your exceptionally high rolls, you notice this person is very adept at hiding as well. Like you the fact that you picked them out was a miracle.
Is it possible that it's Cariel again?
There's no way to know really. But I believe she'd just walk up to us.
You can say this much about Cariel: she's typically wearing a green cloak. This individual is wearing a black cloak with a hood.
Person doesn't look like them. Different garb entirely.
Different build too. Still lean and wiry, but you think perhaps more masculine.
Thicker on the shoulders potentially. I can't really tell, but maybe a man.
Also not carrying a longbow.
Likely armed. Not built for range, doesn't seem.
Well, I can use my slingshot.
That's not. No, we don't want to scare them off. If they believe they've been seen, they'll just run. We need to get them up close, see what they know, see what they want.
Alright, if that's what you wish, that's what we shall do.
So can I get you guys to make a deception checks? Because basically you're trying to have this conversation without making it obvious that you've spotted this person, right?
Yeah. Shit.
Like I'm looking straight ahead.
Oh wait, sorry. Was that deception or perception?
Deception.
Deception.
Ooh!
Oops.
Ooh, that's gonna be my only crit of the night.
Okay, so
16 from
we
Gudael.
have, starting up here with this Orika's perception, so deception 18 from Leith, 7 from Gudael, and 20 from Adrik, 6. Hang on, Gudael, that was okay, I see, that was a perception check, so it was the wrong dice. Okay, so that was a 16, that's not bad. Alright, and finally Milford Brixton, deception. And what did you say, Barry, was the last thing you told me?
What?
Nope, never mind. Apparently it wasn't very important.
I was going to suggest that I try and read the thoughts of this person that's up there, but
Yeah.
we haven't had a long rest, so a short rest, sorry. Recently, so my detect thoughts has been used. I can't remember who I used that on last session, but
Did you?
Yeah.
Can't you just read surface thoughts of that cast as a reflex, and then the other one is cast as a proper spell?
Detect thoughts.
I think that's a part of the telepath feat. I don't recall though, because I haven't really looked at it since you got it.
Do you have the feat, do you?
Yeah, he's got the telepath feat.
Ooh.
Check.
Ooh, fancy. Fancy.
Fancy.
I do try to remember.
It's telepathic. Yeah, no, that is the detect thoughts.
Okay,
And
so
it's-
no.
Yeah,
no worries.
it resets on a long rest.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah.
Well,
Never mind then.
is it? I could just go and pretend to relieve myself in an alley and see if they come down to us.
Why not? It's an idea.
Right.
I
Stay
better wait
close
out here then.
Yeah,
And-
stay close enough that you could interfere. But
Gudael.
I best go by myself.
Gudael, can you I don't know, what's a common sense check? Make a wisdom check, please.
It's literally what common sense is.
Right. Just throw a wisdom dice.
Wisdom.
This is not a saving throw, it's just a straight...
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, Gudael, you think it's perfectly okay for him to just pee in the alleyway in the civic district of Hemiterith of the High Elves.
Oh no.
So, that's fine.
Adrik, doesn't
I didn't think you were gonna do it here, moron. I thought you were gonna do it in an alley.
Well, Adrik goes wandering off to an alley, but even an alley is probably not the greatest idea in Hemiterith.
I'm an orc, I don't care.
Yeah. So Adric's gonna walk off by himself. He's gonna just wave at them and just duck into an alley, and he's going to just stand near a corner.
Stand near a corner in an alley. Is he going to go to relieve himself or what?
He's going to pretend to. He doesn't actually need to. He went to the tea house.
Okay. All right.
I think we should just make sure, just as a rule going forward, we should take pee and poop checks when we leave buildings, just in case.
Half the cast are elves. Elves don't need to do those things.
Whereas orcs just do it constantly.
Right.
Elves don't have those bits.
No. So wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So
Okay,
he's just
from the mouth of the player whose character is currently involved. Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Adrik, make a deception check, please.
Stupid. Okay, let's see. There it is. 16.
A 16. All right. Okay, so you're by yourself? Everybody else is kind of backed off?
Yeah, by myself.
Okay, so the rest of you, what are you guys doing in this busy, crowded street? In the distance, you can hear bells ringing, and this is still the third day of the festival at this point. So down.
Gudael's a bit distracted because she's trying to pretend she doesn't know what's going on with Adrik, but also the news about the seal has sort of set her off because of her most recent vision that she had.
Right.
So she's sort of putting things together and hoping that she's wrong.
Are you alright, Lady Talandaran?
Orikaw, you recall that vision I told you about with the water flooding the palace during a wedding?
Yes.
I fear that if this betrothal takes place, it could result in a catastrophe. Perhaps somehow that will lead to a chain of events that causes the seal to weaken and the floodgates of the Sufferance to be breached.
It would have to be something dire. I've seen the floodgates, at least one of them. It's
Yes.
gigantic.
All it would take is that southern guardian to be broken, or to lose its hold of the seal.
Well then, you can not get married.
Yes, the reasons are mounting for sure.
The trouble is, you can't tell people, is that correct? Of these visions?
No, it tends to lead people to believe I'm a raving lunatic.
I can see that you are not. Some of your friends, however, well, I'm not sure yet.
Excuse me.
Oh,
I
somebody
heard that.
woke him up again. Hello, Mr. Leith?
I am not a raving lunatic, thank you very much.
Adrik,
Really?
you're standing in the alleyway, and how long do you wait there?
No, I think a normal dwarf pea, considering their gigantic bladders for their tiny body, would be about, I don't know,
The size of your head.
Yeah, no. Well, thing is, it's the booze bladder.
Right.
How do you think they drink so good?
Right.
It's I think probably a good like minute and a half.
Wow, that would have been a long pee, wouldn't it?
Well, he's like, come on,
That's a lot of ale.
with the stage fright. There we go.
Right. So it brings a whole new meaning to the phrase streaming.
It's streamlined. It's a streamlined process of pretend pee.
Streaming and streaming.
What have I become a part of?
These are questions that we must ask ourselves.
This is peak D&D
Joanna.
shenanigans.
These are the
Play
questions.
the reality.
Right. So, Adrik, can you make another perception check, please?
Can do. Where is the perception check? Here we go. 13.
13. A shadow passes above you and across, and you hear a slight sound of something landing on a nearby roof, cobblestones or tiles.
Can I tell how close it is to me?
Would have been about 15 feet away from you, above you, crossing over you. You see the shadow of a figure leaping across from one building to the other above you.
And where it landed, can I tell where it is now?
It's on the building to your left,
15 feet that away.
above you, 15 feet above you on the left. Like, probably 3 feet to your left, but 15 feet up.
Okay. I think Adrik's gonna hold just a little bit longer. And just to like kind of, oh no, that's an entirely different action. No, he's just gonna hold it a bit longer. Oh, come on, there's a bit more.
Right. One moment, please. Nothing happens.
Okay, there we go. Time to go and get rid of this ruby then.
You look up and you see a guard walking down the alley from the other end of the alley, however. A city guard. Not a black guard, just a city guard.
Can he, has he spied me?
He is looking directly at you.
Adrix smiles at him and waves.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, how may I help you, officer?
You appear to be in the wrong district.
Oh, I'm with Talandaran.
Oh, Adrik, there you are. I'm so terribly sorry, sir. I seem to have lost track of my dwarf.
You will forgive me then, milady. I believe he was found himself lost. Yes.
Yes. He does tend to wander a bit. I'm so sorry.
I'm so glad you found me. Thank you, milady.
Very good. I shall leave you then, and he wanders off. He salutes to you, Lady Talandaran, as he walks away, or before he walks away.
Wait for him to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And can I tell? Am I aware if the figure is still 15 feet above me?
You had to move out of the alley because Lady Talandaran came to you at that point. You can make another perception check.
21.
You believe the figure. You didn't see the figure move away, or you couldn't see the figure anyway because the figure's above you on the roof. But you didn't hear anything change. You didn't hear anything happen. You can't say for sure one way or the other.
Bucket, you know you're not a very good tale. You know, if you've got something to do and or say, now's the time. It's just me and the cleric.
Okay, at that point, a small piece of something comes falling down from above you and lands next to your foot. And it just goes Dum! Thuds there. And you look down and it looks like a coin. Now, can you make a history check?
Can I make a history check as well?
You can.
Are we all here now?
If you wish to be there, Leith, you may be there.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Yeah. A 12.
Ooh, crit on history check.
A crit on history check.
History check.
That's good. I'm just going to say right now, the way I'm rolling, I hope nobody needs healing tonight.
Right. So this coin, with your crit on your history check,
Thing happens.
it is in fact a coin, and it's a very odd coin that nobody has very often seen in the world. It's not an atom strike because it's much smaller, but you believe it is what is known as a dragon coin, forged by evil metallic dragons of a bygone era to bribe men, goblinoids, and elves. These coins are said to cultivate greed and deceit among those who trade them. To those who are prepared to traffic in this dark currency, a dragon coin is worth approximately 75 gold pieces. They are also extremely light and extremely durable, although this one in particular seems to defy these properties as it thudded against the floor next to your foot with a solid sound that made you feel that its weight was quite grave indeed. They are known to be utilized by pirates, smugglers, and mercenaries of every race and creed. If they are indeed cursed, these professional soldiers and other disreputable professionals pay no heed. They instead say a mostly forgotten prayer to an ancient dragon goddess. It is said to be an offering just powerful enough to appease her, for now. So, that is what this coin is that's landed next to your foot.
Do you recognize that, Adrik? I don't think I've seen that sort of marking on a coin before.
This coin has another property.
Leith, are you able to come down this way?
Yes, of course.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm catching your dragon coin speech. I caught most of it. It's cursed coin, does greed, and is potentially about a dragon goddess. Is worth 75 gold coins,
Yep.
and this one is heavier than it should be.
Right. And as you
Cool.
as you look at it, it seems to have this strange dull quality that when you look at it, you have this sense that there's like almost like black smoke pouring off it.
Dala, I think there might be something wrong with our coin. It's it may or may not be cursed. Let's not touch it until we can get a better idea of what its properties are.
At which point, Leith,
So it's
you
either-
and Orica arrived there too.
So, is this a private party or can anybody join?
Well, we can all join, though I'm not sure if our guest is still here or not.
Oh,
They did.
Oh,
I called out to them because they were seeming a bit shy, and they dropped this lovely little invitation here.
oh, I say that's
Just don't pick it up just yet. Can any of you do any investigation with magical, etc., etc.? I'm not quite as adept at that myself, being the punchy sort as I am.
I don't really have much in the way of identification spells, but I can.
You can make an Arcana check, Leith,
Yeah,
if you want.
I could examine it. I guess.
There just seems to be something quite wrong with it.
Would you like to
What's such a
describe
thing?
to us how you examine the coin, Leith? It's currently sitting on the floor in this alleyway in the corner, in the entrance to the alleyway, next to Adrik's foot.
I
It's
basically
smoking, so I suggest you don't
Yeah.
touch it.
I basically just kneel down and pull my pencil out of my bag and just turn it over.
Okay. The smoking kind of stops, and as you turn it over, the whole thing evaporates.
I'm sorry, Adrik. That was really yours, wasn't it?
Oh, that's quite alright. I'm of the opinion that's probably a warning.
Leith, can you make an Arcana check?
Another one.
Oh, did you make one?
I made a 15.
Oh, you
on
made a
that one.
15. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that 15, that can include what you've just realized then. At this point, you think it might have been an illusion the whole time.
It could very easily have been just not there. Although I was able to turn it over with my pencil, so
Did you feel weight through the pencil?
did I feel weight through the pencil?
You thought you did, but it's a coin. Yeah.
It seemed real, but maybe that was my own perception of it.
Oh, well, we all perceived you doing it. But
Yes.
at any rate, let's just keep our eyes peeled. If there's one, there's likely many.
It's been a strange day for odd perceptions.
Indeed.
Right, so what are you guys doing now?
Off to the bank?
Aye, please.
All right. So you get to the Treasury House. The term bank we shan't use, for banks are a somewhat modern construct,
Sorry.
but that's all right. I think I used the term myself in my description, so I'm just sort of thinking out loud, really. It seems
The
to
money
me,
keepers.
yes,
Bank adjacent.
yes. So you go to the Treasury, and you're going to exchange. What was it you're looking to do?
The ruby that I got from the Wraith's crown.
Right. Okay. And what was that worth? Do you remember?
We didn't discuss it. I entered it into my inventory.
It was a ruby you got from who gave you this ruby?
It was in the Wraith's crown.
Oh, I see. So they're going to examine it.
Yeah,
see.
I don't know anything. To Adrik, it's just a ruby.
Right. So there's this gnome in the. They take you to meet this gnome, in the Treasury, who's tries to examine it. He holds a little crystal, sort of peers through the crystal at the ruby. He says, "It was very old, very old."
Well, if you consider everything on an insidarial, everything's old anyway.
He looks up. He says, "You don't look very old."
Oh, my... good for my age.
I see. Well, we'll give you 25 gold for this. How about that?
Oh, no, it's a ruby, come on. It's not worth that.
It's quite a big ruby.
Aye. 25 gold for a big ruby. Joking.
Well, it does have some properties that we're interested in.
Aye, well, properties such as...
Well, such as its magic.
As magic.
Aye. Where'd you
Aye,
find
what?
this?
We were out adventuring in a cavern. Just picked it up because
Adventurers, are you? I see.
of some proficiency, aye.
Well, you see these markings around the back side of it here.
Aye.
Well, these are somewhat arcane markings, these ones here, and they suggest that it is some sort of very ancient elven origin. Something to do with the royal bloodline, it says here.
Does it do anything?
This here is a marking of a very ancient ancestral bloodline. You see that? Does it do anything? I don't know about that, but certainly I would give you 25 gold for it, just to secure it so that it can be examined further.
You know which bloodline it's from?
Well, yes, it's from the Ariasis bloodline.
Ariasis.
Oh.
Yes.
They there was one time, in fact, when the Ariasis were there was a king of the Ariasis bloodline for one and only one king of that bloodline. Unfortunately, he perished. And yeah.
Terrible.
Yes, indeed. Had a bit of a curse happening there, I believe. There was some business. Nobody likes to talk about that.
No, of course not. Well, thank you for your service.
Nothing to do with a particular sword by the name of Sorrow, was it?
I can't say that brings anything to mind, my friend. No.
Oh no. All right. Maybe I'm getting my Ariases round the wrong way.
I believe I may know the gentleman that you're thinking of, Leith.
Oh, yes. The family trees are long and very winding, so maybe I am getting myself confused here.
And potentially intertwining.
Yes.
Do you have any other business with the treasure house?
No, I adopted your accent. No, mate. Thank you for your service. I might hold on to the ruby for now, because it's a bit of curiosity for it.
All
Don't
right.
happen to have silver dust at this treasury house?
We do not sell silver dust, I'm afraid.
No, I
it's
didn't
not
think you
something
would.
we trade in. We trade in bars and ingots, that sort of thing. Jewels, certainly. Coins, yes.
It's
Dust,
possibly the smithy that I'm after, then.
Possibly the smithy, or perhaps some sort of apothecary or alchemist. But you don't see too many of those these days.
No.
More's the pity. More's the pity.
Well, friends, shall we leave this fine gentleman to his business?
Yes, good idea.
Yes.
Well, thank you once again very much.
Most welcome. All right, so you leave the treasure house.
Well, that's quite a fruitful day. We had.
Yes. Do you somehow use this ruby to purchase my way out of having to marry the Ariasis chap?
It's not something I'd considered, but it's not the worst idea I've had. That being said, they may take a look at it and go, no, it's mine by default, and we're still getting married.
True. Okay. But it's something to consider, that we may be able to leverage something.
That's definitely an idea. Well, worst case scenario, Orika and I can just, toss him through a window or something and then leave.
I like that plan.
So, well, it came with the crown. What do you reckon happens if we just... I've already kind of defaced it, but what if we just slip the two back together? You reckon it might...
Suppose that Wraith was actually the old Ariasis king?
Oh, absolutely.
Almost certainly, yes.
Have we not got enough trouble without making more?
Do you suppose by slaying him we freed his soul to... Well, he can't go to Arvandor at the moment, but...
And my lady Talandaran, I'm supposed to be keeping you out of trouble, not helping you get into it.
If we can do a good service for a deceased elf, I'm sure that's a good thing.
Look, we're conspirating for great trouble. Also,
what's his name? Your roguey friend?
Oh, Milford. Brixton.
We need to...
Yes.
we need to...
So, what happened to him? Should we talk about this at
our lodgings,
yes.
I'd rather not talk about it at all, to be quite honest.
That's all right. I'll fill you in, Orika, once we're out of... Once before Leith has got his own space.
Good.
All right.
Oh, I owe you an explanation for not telling you that I took your brother to his destiny, my lady.
I assume you were operating under orders, Orikaw.
Oh no, I just thought that now was not the time for it. I thought someone would mention it sometime.
Did he seem well when you brought him there?
Well, I couldn't tell, seeing as he had a hood over his head.
He had a hood over his head.
Yes.
Is that standard practice when prisoners are being brought to the Sufferance?
Yes, they're supposed to put a hood over my head, but the gentlemen that were with me decided against it. I managed to dissuade them from it.
Persuade them. They were scared of you, weren't they?
Yes, I would say just a tiny, wee little bit. Yes. So that's why I know where he is.
It's, incredibly useful.
Mind you, it is a lovely little island.
Oh, of course, his lodgings. Will he be able to keep himself warm and all the rest of it?
Well, he's a black god. I should imagine they learn how to survive in the wilderness.
Very well. So what do you do now, ladies and gentlemen? Lady and gentlemen? Lady and non-binary folk and gentlemen?
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
Right.
I imagine we'd like go back to our lodgings, prepare for the night, and then bugger off to the thing. Unless we wanted to chat about stuff and where it's safe.
Right. Well, you can have this opportunity to chat quietly and safely back at your lodgings if you so desire.
All right. this half-orcish servant, with permission, ladies and gentlemen, would like to speak.
You don't need to ask for permission, Orikaw.
I have...
Yes, not around us.
I have a small, plan that needs your help for perfection. Because I may not have thought of things.
You may not have, aye.
First, we need Lady Talandaran here to get the priestly thing, and be able to go and see her brother.
Right.
Yes.
Second, we need a potion that will, what is the word? It means,
Makes one look dead.
yes, that's the one.
Aye. A small death. A temporary death.
Yes.
I may have a spell for that. I would require some refreshing of
But
how
you
it...
can't be there.
Oh.
You can't be there. If you do it to him, if he suddenly dies when you're there, everybody will be immediately suspicious.
But could we not say that
would.
we found him that way?
All they'd have is our word that
It
we
is a
didn't slay
possibility.
him.
And somehow we have to make sure these are the holes in my plan. One of the big ones is that, one, your father may come and get him, and he may not send me and he may not send you. Two, there has to be a time when we are ready, when your brother knows to take the potion. 3, the potion is the problem. We have to find somebody we can trust to make such a potion. And I imagine there aren't many places around here to make potions.
Aelar.
Oh, Aelar, that's a good idea, actually. I was about to suggest Vashti.
Oh. Aelar, I think, is closer, and we may run into him tonight.
Are these people you trust? Oh, I know. Yes, but not Not the other one.
Vashti is a colleague, technically.
Let's leave it at that. So, can any of you see the giant problem with this plan?
No, it's, well, aside from getting him out.
Well, if we get him out as a dead body, that part should be easy. If either Lady Talandaran is sent or I am sent. But the thing is to make sure that one of us gets sent.
Well, then the best person for that would simply be Dala. She's closest to Ren, and if she were to get the news that Ren had perished while in
no, it would go to her father first.
Aye, but she needs to be there, hear about it, and demand to go retrieve him. That being said, I don't know Elandor especially well, though he does seem like quite the bastard. Pardon, Dala.
Do you want us to move back home with my parents then?
Me? No. You just have to be around and, at all times until Ren does the thing.
Right, so perhaps planning a wedding.
Perhaps planning a wedding. And then you just run away.
Well, no. Of course, you cancel the wedding because your brother has just died.
And you're too aggrieved, aye?
Yeah, you're too aggrieved. You can't.
He was to be
handle it without him.
He was to be your maid of honor.
Pardon?
You could do the thing, suggest it. Father, I spent my whole life with Ren. If only he were my maid of honor. And then Elandor, well, I'm making you do this shite thing, so I guess I have to let you have Ren in a dress turn up for your wedding.
May I say that it's a very good imitation of my master, but it's more manly, more my lordship kind of, like that, you see. Like
I
that.
see.
Yes.
Well,
It's more like that.
My daughter, I'm making you do this terrible thing.
No,
So I suppose.
now you look like you're trying to have a crap and talk at the same time.
Well, by my account, that's exactly what Elandor looks like.
Oh, well, I can't
He's trying to
argue
shite
with
himself
that.
at all times.
I can't argue with that, you see.
Oh. Well, you know the man better than my point stands is that it would make a very convincing argument to have Ren as your maid of honor at your wedding.
Whereabouts are you guys right now? You're at your apartments at the.
Yes.
Yeah, the apartments.
Yes.
And Gudael's going to slip away now and start writing her application to go and do pastoral duties.
So she's writing on some parchment, right? Is this in her room or is this at the table that's in the courtyard in the sun?
Oh shit.
Gudael has decided to go to her rooms to do her writing, so she's had enough of the conversation. She can't keep a straight face. She just needs to go and get some stuff done.
So she's like, screw you guys, I'm going home. So she
I'm
leaves.
going home.
Right. So she's off to do her application in her room. So she's writing a letter, basically. Who's this letter addressed to?
And I guess it better be addressed to Illanis Firehel, shouldn't it be?
Right, directly to
Yes.
her. Very well. That makes sense. All right. So you're writing this letter, and as you're writing this letter, everybody else, you're having this conversation. Are you in the courtyard or are you in somebody's room?
I think we're in if I may suggest, in Edryn's room, and I'm showing
Orikaw?
Orikaw, that's it.
Edryn's out right now, isn't he? He's off studying.
Yeah, he's off killing bugs, I guess. I don't know.
Killing bugs.
Yeah, just firebolt magnifying glass.
He's at the
isn't working.
library, Adrik. He's at the
Yes.
library doing serious study. He's not
Yes.
killing bugs.
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. He could be
stop
doing
it.
anything.
Stop it. Stop it. I want you all to roll perception alertness checks. Perception checks. Wisdom perception checks. Let me get my game right. This is Dungeons and Dragons. It's wisdom perception.
I want to find out, Adrik, where's this hiding place?
Ooh, natural
it's a-
20.
A natural 20. Natural 20.
That's just here.
Natural 20. Let me see this. Natural 20. And I'm gonna get me a... Where's the freaking thing gone? A natural 20, you say?
I do say.
That is a natural 20 with a +5 bonus, 25. Adrik also gets a 22. Okay, that leaves Milford Brixton. I'll roll your dice now. Coming up any moment.
Excuse me, you can't roll Milford Brixton.
Not Milford Brixton. Milford Brixton is dead.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
Orika Taku, that's a big fat 17. So it's 14 plus 3, 17. Very good. At that point, you become aware, all of you, of a shadow being cast from the roof down into the room. I'm going to have you guys. Would you say you're in Edryn's room?
Yeah.
Right.
Or at least Adrik and Orika are maybe.
All right.
Leith is kind of tagging along.
Okay, so you're all in Edryn's room. Who's the closest to the door?
That would be one of them, because I'd be in the room.
I'm in the room as showing him where the secret door is.
Right, so you've actually literally just opened the secret door, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
All right, that sounds reasonable. One moment, please. I'm going to get you all to roll initiative.
Ah, shit.
Oh.
Yay.
I knew we were having an assassination happen.
Okay, so Leith, what's your initiative, sir?
9.
9, a big, huge, fat 9. Adrik,
Yeah.
It's a 10.
to 10. Oh, we're going numerically. Gudael is not here, so we'll give her a 0.
He's writing
In
letters.
fact,
at the
yeah,
moment.
she's writing letters. She might have just collapsed on her table while she's writing letters, incidentally, but you haven't noticed that because you're not in the same room as her, so I'm putting her at initiative count 1. Orika, your initiative, which you no doubt have not actually rolled yet because I need to do it. You get a +1 to initiative, and it's a natural 20.
Oh, shit.
So you just rolled 2 natural 20s if I'm not wrong. Oh no, that was a natural 20 earlier, but yes, 21 for Orika. Okay. Wow, you guys rolled quite low except for Barry, actually, oddly enough. Okay, Orika, what you see when you turn towards the door, a shadow passes in front of the door, and you see this long chain come flying in, the spiked chain whips in through the doorway towards your head.
Okay.
You can make a dexterity saving throw.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do that. Orika, dexterity saving throw coming up any moment now. Did you see that? Did you see that? A natural 20, another natural 20.
Bollocks.
That's your third
Bollocks.
natural 20
Wow.
today, Barry. Third
Are you
natural
sure you
20.
want Milford back?
Right. Orika's smashing it. Okay, so you easily step out of the way of this chain as it goes and stops sort of in front of your face. You just sort of step to the side of it.
Okay. Yeah.
And it comes rapidly, pulls back. I mean, you're watching it in slow motion right now, but it's comes back out through the door. And then
Yeah.
you see this figure step into the doorway. Quite quickly, moving rapidly, in fact. This individual has very pale skin and looks quite sick, actually. Like you would say they were like a very sick elf. When I say sick, I mean like diseased. Not falling apart, but almost like a mummy would look if you unwrapped them. Right. They make another swing with this chain weapon. It comes flying towards you, and again, it doesn't touch you.
Okay.
What's your armor class, Orika? Let me have a look here.
I don't know.
You don't know your own armor class? That's a shocking admission. Your armor class is 16, okay, Orika? So
Yep.
keep that in mind. And it hits you. The chain hits you on its third swing, the third attempt. And it does 10 points of damage, Orika. Now, to put that into perspective, you have 44 hit points at this point. So you're now down to 34 hit points.
Okay.
Okay. 'Tis done. Next on our initiative order, we have Adrik Fogdar. What would you like to do?
So this figure's just in the door, right?
Yeah. They've stepped in through the door. They're kind of eclipsing the doorway, but they look like they're about to move further in.
Adrik's going to pull out his warhammer and he's going to attack him.
All right, roll to hit with your warhammer, please.
Natural 20.
A natural 20. You rolled a natural 22.
Another one.
Another
So
one.
so that first hit.
Okay, natural
Sorry.
20. All right, so that's a crit. So you get to roll your double dice. Right-click your
I've
damage, and
Done.
that's your damage is 20 hit points damage.
I believe so. Sorry, it's just the way that I've got D&D Beyond set up. I can't. It's not giving me the total like it normally would. Just give me 2 seconds to double check that.
6 plus 9 plus 5.
Yes, I believe so.
Wow.
Sorry, this thing is being very stupid.
20 points of damage.
But hell yeah, on that. That's on my first hit.
Boof.
Now for my second.
All right.
That's a 26 to hit.
Ooh. Wow. Oof. Okay, you hit. Yes.
Shit, I did that. I pressed the 1d10 as versatile, so I'm just gonna treat it as Adrik's got a shield away at the moment, so it's
Okay.
just keep in mind his AC is 21 then, so I'm just gonna swing with that 1d10 plus 5 then as well.
Okay.
That's 7 damage.
7 damage. All right. Very good.
Total
7.
27 in that round.
Nice. Well done. Okay.
That's good.
This individual, by the way, is wearing some sort of studded leather armor, you would say. Has a bald head, no hair, very pale skin, and has pointy ears and very, very thin complexion. Very much an elf, but a very, very pale elf, like almost undead looking. But doesn't move like an undead creature.
Does their cloak resemble the figure Orika and I saw on the roof?
Yes.
Okay.
It is in fact the exact cloak. You would say. I mean, it's a black cloak. What can I say?
Well, it's about time you came out to play.
All right, Leith, it's your turn.
Let's get a mark up on this guy. Do I go for a hex? Let's get a hex on this fella.
A hex.
First of all,
All right. Does he get a saving throw for that?
he has disadvantage on dexterity saving.
Oh,
on
okay. He has
dexterity checks.
disadvantage on dexterity checks. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right. And what else do you do? There's a bonus action or an action?
That's a bonus.
Okay.
Then I'm going to Eldritch Blast him. So
All right.
two beams.
All right.
Hell yeah.
21 hits. Yep.
And 17.
Hits. So you blast the crap out of him.
So 4 damage on the first one.
All right.
2 damage on the second one.
4
Do the hexes
plus
do the
2.
hexes stack on each one as well?
I do not know whether the hexes stack on each other. I wouldn't think so, typically.
So the hex gives an extra 4 points of damage.
An extra 4. Okay. Very good. Gudael is presently having a nap outside at the table. Orikaw,
I attack.
you attack. All right. Now, you, what are you using? Where is your great sword? Are you walking
My-
around holding a great sword, or what? Like, is
I
it
would have
slung over your shoulder?
Yeah, because I'm supposed to be her bodyguard, so it would
All right, that
accept
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can literally swing it off your shoulder on the strap and
Yeah.
drop the scabbard off the blade. The scabbard flops to the floor.
Yeah.
All right, and you go for a swing with this two-handed sword
Yep.
towards this guy. Okay, Orikaw, allow me to make your greatsword attack. You have +9 to hit with a greatsword. That's ridiculous. And that is a 15 to hit with your first attack, which, me double checking, actually hits. It's just a hit. Now your damage with your greatsword. You do 12 points of damage with your first attack. Now you have more than one attack.
Yeah.
Let me record your damage so that we don't lose track of things. What did I say? 12.
Yeah.
Okay. You have more than one attack, so what are you going to do with your second attack? You're going to do the same thing again?
I'm gonna hit him low and then hit him high. You know how you get a sword and you swipe one way and then you swipe the other way to get
Right.
him. Yeah.
Okay, so you swing back again.
Yeah.
Your second attack, sadly, he steps out of the way quite lively.
Okay.
Now, let me check something. Do you have 2 attacks or 3 attacks? You
Or
have
five
action
and 2
surge,
attacks.
so you could potentially have 3 attacks if you wanted to.
I'll do that now.
Okay, so we're going to click that off. You don't get that back until after a short rest.
I know.
All right, so you're going to take your third attack. And that is a 17, which hits. And you do actually more dice than that. Oh no, that works. 12 points of damage. Another 12 points of damage to this fellow. All right.
Right up in this fellow's business.
This individual does a kind of an acrobatic maneuver to try and get around you, Adrik. Orikaw, to get an attack in on Adrik. His acrobatics maneuver seems to work as he sort of rolls across the floor and stands up much closer to Adrik, taking a swing with this chain that he's trying to wrap it around your face, Adrik. You get the impression. I'm going to roll to hit with this spiked chain. Ooh, what's your armor class?
Currently 21, because I'm holding my warhammer with 2 hands.
He hits you with a
No shit.
24.
Oh my god.
The spiked chain wraps around your head and thunks you in the face. And it does 8 points of damage.
Cool.
That's his first of 3 attacks with this weapon. His second attack, he swings at Leith. But it is a natural 1.
Oh,
And it flies out of his hands and crashes against the wall, smashing into whatever object is nearest and probably breaking it. I don't know what that object might be in Edryn's room. It might be a statue against the wall of, let's say it's a statue of Corellon Larathian, which
It's
has
alright, we can live with it.
just been vandalized by this chain. Now, Gudael, you've been writing, and I don't know whether you wanted to have a vision or not, but you can make a perception check. Yes. Okay, so 14 on perception. You hear a loud crash coming from the other room. What do you do? This is from Edryn's room.
What is going on? I get up and I go to Edryn's room, and I'm about to say, "Would you keep it down?" But I open the door and see what's.
Well, the door is open.
Oh, the door's open.
The door is wide open, and there is this pale elven figure with no hair, wearing studded leather armor, attacking Adrik presently, but has flung this chain towards Leith at that point, which has come out of his hand and flown into the statue of Corellon the Rathian, smashing it to bits. It topples over and crashes on the floor. There's white dust in the air now.
I'm going to have to pay for that.
Well, that's what you're thinking. Meanwhile, it's Adric's turn.
How much room do we have in Edryn's room?
Not a lot of room. Like if you were to
Okay.
swing a cat, it might bounce off Corellon.
Okay, so becoming gigantifying is not a good idea right now.
Not a great idea, no.
No. Okay, cool. No worries.
Probably have to pay for more damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've already got one big guy in the room. We don't need a second. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm going to slide my shield onto my hand, onto my left hand, so I'm back to 1d8 damage, and I'm gonna first swing with my warhammer.
All right.
That there's a 14.
That does not hit.
Does not hit. Swing. Second hit.
Yeah.
Second swing. That is a 12.
That does not hit.
I was rolling so hot before. I'm gonna action search. Hold on. Actions. All actions. And I'm going to take care of that later. And let's see if this does the thing. Motherfucker, it's a 15. I thought that was a 1.
That just hits.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh boy, that's a 7.
Okay, so you do 7 points of damage. All right, this guy's looking a bit worse for wear, to be fair. Leith,
Has this guy said anything?
not a word.
And he kind of looks undead.
Looks like he could be undead, but he's not moving like an undead. I mean, has Leith ever seen an undead creature before? Oh, you've seen a Bodak, that's true. It doesn't look anything like a Bodak, to be fair. Bodaks are entirely alien.
Does he look fairly cognizant, or?
Yes, he does.
I'm going to try casting, using my staff, Hold Monster on him.
Okay. All right. It has no effect.
He's
look.
undead then.
Now, Leith, yes, you'd cast Hold Person, Hold Monster, was it?
Yes, and it had
Hold
not
Monster,
succeeded.
it ignored Hold Monster. So what do? Do you have any other actions or bonus actions that you'd like to?
For my bonus action, I would like to come to the conclusion that this is indeed an undead.
All right. Very well. So that's your conclusion, and that's the conclusion of your turn. Also, simultaneously, these things occur.
Indeed.
Gudael. Now you're standing in the doorway. You're witnessing this business. I put you at at 1 on the initiative count because you were not present. So you'll last, unfortunately.
That's fine.
All right.
As soon as she saw what was going on, she ran back to her room, grabbed her mace, ran back. And it's my turn now.
Yep.
I will cast a guiding bolt, and then I will Mace of Disruption on its head if I can.
Okay. So guiding bolt, is that an action or a bonus action?
Oh, right. Sorry. I got so excited. It's an action.
Okay. So
I can't do 2 actions.
do one or the other.
Do one or the other. Guiding bolt. I'll try that.
Right. Roll your guiding bolt. I believe it's a to-hit roll. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it is a to-hit roll.
All right. Roll to hit. With your guiding
13.
13. Unfortunately, the guiding bolt goes past the creature, smacks into the wall behind everybody, and dissipates a bunch of eldritch kind of, sort of eldritchy, divine energy into the wall. Okay, that's your action. Do you have a bonus action you'd like to do?
I will pull up my spiritual weapon and try to hit it with that then.
Okay, so bonus action, spiritual weapon. Your, was it a purple hammer?
Blue.
or
It's
blue?
a blue sword that comes up, and I guide it towards this monster.
Okay.
16? Is that any better?
16, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
That is theoretically a hit. Yes. Roll your damage.
Oh, it's a 4.
A 4?
I get a 2 plus 2.
So that was a 4 to hit, was it?
That's a 4 damage.
4 damage. Okay. Orikaw.
I continue to attack when I get the chance.
Alright, so you're going back at him with your two-handed sword.
Yeah.
Alright. What am I doing? I'm rolling on D&D Beyond. That's a hit. You do 9 points of damage. He's very upset about that.
And the second one?
Okay, your second attack. Oh, dirty 20. Alright, Orikaw, how do you kill him?
Hey,
I simply do what I said before. I swipe him one way and then cut him the other.
Right, so you literally just cut him into two halves. You swing up with your blade. Is this the upward or the downward cut that you separate him in two with?
The downward.
Alright. So he falls in two directions at the same time. His legs go one way, his torso and head and arms go the other. His entrails spill out between the two in a gory display of crimson and red, splattering the walls, splattering all across the room. Everybody in the room is covered now in this creature's black blood.
Adrian's not going to be happy about that.
He collapses to the ground and he tries to crawl towards the door. You see some sort of magical energy springing to his fingertips before he passes out.
Okay.
Well, let's have Adrik's gonna start searching through his pockets.
Alright, as you're searching through his pockets, you find that there's something odd happening. Can you make a perception check?
I certainly can. $16.
He seems to be kind of collapsing in on himself. Like,
Guys, he's deflating.
do you remember the mist that was coming off the coin?
Yeah. Just
Seems
like
to,
that.
he seems to be evaporating. It's
I
not.
think
Blood
he's-
also evaporate off the walls.
It does.
Thank goodness.
Like, it cleans itself up.
Yeah, he's a self-cleaning monster.
Is he are his clothes and the contents of his pockets also vanishing?
Yep.
Oh shit.
His blade, however, the chain that he dropped is still kind of half wrapped around Coralon on the floor. And that does not vanish. But the rest of him just dissipates into nothing.
Odd.
You know, I that there's an interesting chain. I'd like to investigate that or something to see if it's a design that Adrik's familiar with.
Sure, you can make an investigation check.
If it's safe, if you decide it's safe, I would like to have it.
Certainly.
Okay, so yeah, you investigate the weapon, yeah?
Yeah, I got a 25 on that.
Oh, a 25. Adrik, okay, so can you make a religion check for me as well?
Yeah, can do. Just gotta find that fucking thing. Yeah. 13.
13, okay. You've heard of the Shadar Kai.
Michael thought it was the Shadar Kai.
And you know the connection between the Shadar Kai and the Shadowfell. And the Raven Queen.
So
They're coming for us.
yeah, I relay that to everybody. Maybe. Well, at the very least, it seemed vaguely interested in me. Oh, and I imagine Dala as well, seeing as we were both in the tomb sepulchre, whatever the fuck that place was.
I guess I was just in the way. Well, not really, but
Not happy about being having their special attention. Oh, here you go, Orika. You did kill the thing.
It's a trophy,
Aye.
and I will learn to use it.
That's spectacular. I'd hate to be on the other end of it once you figure it out.
So do you think because we were in that chamber under the waterfall that things are hunting us?
That is our second shadow.
Oh, same one. Oh, you mean the Bodak?
Yes.
I think that was just undead brand undead, potentially. This seemed a bit more targeted. They were hunting us.
Okay, who disappeared this time? Steve.
Oh shit.
The internet today is
Having a hard time, man.
yeah, I don't know what's going on, but clearly today is not the... Oh, I know what it is. It's because it's Friday the 13th. There you go.
Ah, there we go.
That would do
Where
Well,
we
it's-
live here in little old New Zealand, at the front of the time thing, UTC business. Yes, it's Friday
is
the 13th
weird.
for us.
Considering all the crits that we've had tonight. It's so it's really strange.
That is true. Well, hopefully Leith will come back into it. I mean, I wonder where he's gone. Perhaps he's having a vision of his own.
Is he communing with
Tozan.
Tozan?
Right. Right. Well,
Okay.
in any case, what are you guys doing? With or without Leith?
Gudael's going to pick up what's left of Coralon's statue, and she's wondering if it can be repaired.
Right. Well, you can make an investigation check to see whether you think it can be repaired.
Was there something hidden inside it, I wonder?
Ooh.
A secret note to a treasure, maybe?
Yeah, a microphone.
A certain sword in a tree?
That was a 4.
There was a giant 4.
I know nothing.
Yeah, you. I'm afraid not Jon Snow.
I'm gonna
Yes, Friday the 13th. Tricky energy indeed, Wolfskin Witch. Indeed. So yes, you can't see a way to repair it. I think you're a bit too upset and shocked by the whole situation, Gudael.
Maybe.
You're not seeing a way to repair it. It's pretty damaged, and parts of it have exploded into dust.
Steve posted on the group chat and said that his power just went out. So it's
wow.
the most Friday the 13th thing to happen midstream.
Wow. Okay, his power went out. Well, there you go. So, all right then. So it wouldn't have mattered if whether or not I'd screwed up the Zoom anyway, because it would have screwed itself up when Steve dropped out.
If we had just waited a little longer.
Shocking.
now. Okay. Now you've got the.
All right, we've got the letter. Now we just have to get our hands on, well, submit it first, and then get our hands on the potion.
Yes. But the question remains, why is she interested in you? No. Because she's not interested in me, because I had nothing to do with whatever you did.
Now, from what I know, the Shadar Kai, which this creature likely was, is attached to the Raven Queen. The Shadar Kai are, you know how elves are native to our material plane. Russell, like, would Adrik have knowledge about Eladrin? Because I'm about to like go into that kind of speech.
Eladrin.
Well, at the very like.
You know more about the Shadow Kai than the Eladrin.
Okay. Well, you know how there are different planes, right? We've got this one, and we've also got there's also the Shadowfell. Well, some things are native to both. And Shadow Kai are kind of like elves that are native there.
So what have you done that
Well-
should annoy the Raven Queen?
We
Well-
potentially sent her Milford, so that might have done something.
Yeah, you know that's actually a pretty good point. Milford's likely annoyed her enough. Well, if she's so annoyed at him, why doesn't she just throw him through a hole in the ground back here?
That would be a good solution, I would
But
think.
no, she's got to
Nobody
kill him,
could
bring more
possibly
people.
be that annoying.
You've not met Milford Brixton.
Really?
Aye. Well, you think she'd be happy to have him, considering that he's been of the five of us, he's been the closest to death. Frequently. You think she'd be, he's flirted with her quite a lot. So you'd think that she'd be quite familiar with his presence.
He's
At any
also
rate-
quite good at plotting, so perhaps I would
Maybe
think
he-
that she needs to see him
Or-
if she has any schemes to accomplish.
Or he's running the place and he's sending Shadar Kai to get his revenge. That being said, we may have just, by going into that tomb, gone where we're not welcome. And now she's potentially trying to send a message.
Like a big keep out or something.
Aye, oh well, that's a
It's
god
a
for
pity-
you.
Pity we couldn't have spoken with that creature.
Yeah, well, I tried. The closest we got was him throwing his coin at us.
Oh,
Well, I've got his chain as a prize, so that's all that matters to my people.
Aye. Well, you did mighty well there. You did mighty well.
Got a nice scar, too. A nice scar.
Yeah,
nice
aye.
scar.
Yeah.
Oh,
Scars matter to my people.
I could heal it.
Yes. No.
No.
Oh, no. To heal my scars is like... I cannot find...
It's like a medal.
It's like a medal. That's... What's a medal for?
It's a valor. It's an award.
It's like an award to my people to have
Okay.
scars. That is why I have so many.
Is
In
it sort
fact,
of
I have
sacred?
turned my scars into a giant tattoo. Yes,
Oh,
because each one of them depicts my journey in life.
that's fascinating.
I never thought so, but
And Wolfskin Witch says chicks dig scars. There's that too. So
It's true.
ask Gudael. She'll tell you.
We like the stories, I suppose.
Right. So what are you guys
yes, I have
doing?
many stories I could tell you about my scars. Yes, but anyway, there are more important things afoot at the moment.
Perhaps. When was the dinner?
You've got
It's-
What
about
have we got?
You've got about 2 hours to get to the Talandaran manse.
All right. Well, perhaps we should make our way to submit the letter first, and then get to. If we can talk to Aelar beforehand, that's ideal.
I think I can hear Mr. Leith being sick. Yes, I don't think he's too well.
No,
Oh, there were so many guts.
So there you go, Leith. I believe it's been decided that Leith is having an ill turn. Perhaps all the gore and fearfulness of these terrible, freaky Shadar Kai has...
He's been
Caused you
upset
to-
about that fellow you keep talking about.
He
It's
was
true.
exceptionally close to Milford. Let's. Perhaps we should leave him here while we go about our business for the moment. Let him rest up.
Yes, and milady, you should look good.
I think,
suppose.
Darling,
Put on your
you look,
best dress, yes.
you look quite good in your armor as you are.
It's
Her
true,
mother
Adrik.
will
I
not
enjoy.
approve.
I enjoy the armor, but Orikaw may have a point.
Yes.
I
Her
mean, you
mother
don't
will not
want to
approve.
marry this man, do you? This will make a bad impression. What's your father gonna do?
And he could make it incredibly difficult for us to go into the Sufferance, regardless of having permission to enter. So we will play the game.
Fair point. Fair point.
I will take off my armor and perhaps on the way to deliver the letter and visit Aelar, Aelar, we may be able to find a dress shop on the way.
Didn't you get one today?
Oh, during our shopping mission. Oh.
Yeah. Did you get
Retroactive
one?
shopping montage.
Brilliant. Okay.
I see. Yeah, that makes a certain amount of sense.
We
To
don't
be fair,
really
though,
need
I
it.
mean, I don't imagine that there are just shops you can walk in and buy dresses from. Like there are tailors you can go to and have dresses
that's
made.
true. There's no high street in Highbrook.
Right. I mean, this whole idea of modern corporate capitalism has not been invented, and if it had been, somebody would have shut it down by now because clearly it's abhorrent.
You have to go to a dressmaker's and you didn't go to one today.
No, it's okay. I've got a dress, I'm sure. We'll
You
go.
got that,
Really?
you got that nice black one that you were wearing at the dinner a couple nights ago.
I think I returned it, Adrik.
Go borrow it again. Someone.
Oh, the sack one, that was
Yes.
right. The Hessian sack dress that was basically scraps that had been once worn by one of the martyrs of the Order of the Daughters of Twilight at for mourning.
I don't think we want that.
No, that's a good point.
You could turn up to meet your betrothed wearing wearing a sack.
Hello, darling.
What's up,
Hello.
Larry? Let's get married.
Yeah. Okay, Barbie, let's go party.
There we go.
Okay, so all right. So you have a dress, and you organize that business. Anybody else going to do anything in particular in the meantime? Leith may also, and I'll put this out to you if you're still watching, Steve. Hopefully that you are. You could also go off to sort of see if you could track down Edryn in the libraries too, as another option. Besides simply being sick, which is a little bit less proactive. Depends how much agency you want from beyond the weave. And of course, if you can get back in here, you are cool.
Oh, brilliant.
Feel free to jump back into the Zoom if your power comes back on again. You've still got 20 minutes or so.
Yes.
Hey. Return to us, Leith.
Wow, what an
Return.
unbelievable day of nonsense.
It's been a great game.
The game's been pretty good. I don't have any complaints about that. And
I
I'm-
thought you meant the game day, but not day
the-
day.
The
Are
game
we
is
going to bother to get to this dinner or what?
game is also nonsense, to be fair.
Fine.
No, it's great. It's
I
great.
know it is.
Yeah. Okay, so you
What
are
am I
going.
gonna wear?
Are you going to go to the dinner without Leith and Edryn? This really is the question. I mean, we can put that
Oh,
off
I
to the
see.
next episode, or we can do it without them and then just keep moving forward. I don't actually mind either way. Stuff's going to keep happening one way or the other. The world's not
I
going to
think
stop.
we should continue.
All right.
Hey, we've
Because,
still got.
because to tell you the truth, I want to get this dinner over with.
All right.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm not crazy about this family either. Oh, sorry, milady. Sorry.
All right. Okay, so you get your business together and you head off to the Talandaran manse. Yeah?
Yes.
So let me quickly just get you a description of the area that you are traveling in.
Am I passing the letter to my dad? Hey, Daddy, could you pass this on to Illanis?
You can do that if you so desire.
No,
That's-
no, don't listen to him. It's
Don't
just
listen
an
to
evil
God.
voice in the back of your head. Yes. Don't listen to him.
Very
Listen
good.
to me.
So we'll say we deliver it to someone on the way.
If
We could
Emil,
deliver it to the lady's servant.
we could there's the lady is Aelar's servant. If Aelar is there, we could just hand it over to his servant. Emil seems to be at his beck and call at all times.
I've got to go and get my draft horse.
All right, so the location in which you travel to is known as the northeast quarter of the city.
Oh, that's all right.
It is known as the Art District, and it is famous for its artisans, its potters, weavers, and armourers. The northeastern quarter is a bustling hub of trade. The silks and clothes produced by the elven looms here are famous all across the world. Jammed up against the citadel wall, this area of Highbrook, or Hemiterith as the elves call it, is always well policed day and night, as the looms often work to all hours to fulfill the orders of faraway monarchs and rich travelling merchants. Here too are the famous armories of the Imdrael family, whose elven chain and plate armour is worn by the royal household, soldiers and the city guards. They also come equipped with they also have a fully equipped and stocked forge facility within the citadel, incidentally, and there is a rumour of a secret tunnel that connects them to the lower northeastern quarter. Gudael, you probably have heard about that. The area is also famous for its incredible old empire mansions, which is one of the places you're going now, many of which sit built into the citadel walls itself. The northeastern quarter is noted for its contrasts, as well as its class. Lower down, closer to the eastern gate, behind the pottery studios and sculptors, are hidden various dens of iniquity outside the price range of the average citizen. This is where your father's manse is currently situated, up against the wall, somewhat built into the wall, in fact, high above the rest of the city, or at least of the lower city.
Sorry, Russell. Let's got to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
All right. So now we're down to just 2 players. They're just whittling them away until we get to here. All right.
Okay.
So as you go in, I'm imagining Adrik immediately decides that he needs to step away and go and powder his nose. So, Gudael, you head in with Orikaw.
Which is not unusual because I'm supposed to be a bodyguard.
That is true. Exactly.
Are we early to this dinner or are we late?
That is entirely up to you. How would you like to play that?
I think I'd like to be early if we can be.
All right. So as you come in, you see your sister Ilivara, and she's currently standing with various attendants who are assisting her with jewelry. They're fixing one of her earrings at present, and at the same time, there's 2 seamstresses who are adjusting one of her huge sleeves on her right hand, on her right wrist, and tidying up the stitching there. "Ah, sister," she says as you come in. "I wasn't
Hello,
sure if we were
Shadar.
expecting you or not. I thought perhaps you'd returned to Vaingate by now.
The thought had crossed my mind.
But you've decided to stay?"
Yes, I didn't see that I had much choice in the matter, but how go the preparations for the evening?
Well, everyone was a little concerned that you might hightail it, but I was sure that you would do the right thing, sister. It seems to me that you do have ethics and have always considered your family first. For what have we if not family?
Yes, this is true. So,
Yes.
how long has it been since you got married, Illavarra?
Oh, I've been married to, must be near on a century by now.
Century. Right, and how do you find it?
What do you mean, how do I find it, Darla?
Well, is it different from not being married?
It is a duty that we must fulfill.
Duty. I see.
No,
And,
stop that. Try the other side. She turns to one of the servants and tells them off for some small infraction. Adrik,
And
you've
what
just
of love? Do you
returned.
love your husband?
Of course I do, Darla. Why would I marry him if I didn't love him? Besides, if you didn't love him, sooner or later you would find that you did.
How does that work?
Proximity, Darla, I think is how it works. I think that if you spend enough time around someone, sooner or later you grow to love them.
So you knew your husband before you got married?
A little, yes. But I believe the fellow in question in your case is very, very handsome and gentle, fine young man.
Do you know him?
Well, I've met him once or twice, yes. I must admit I was called upon to assist with the matchmaking.
I see.
And I
And
thought
you're happy?
Am I happy?
Yes.
What is happiness, Darla? For me, happiness is the fulfillment of my duty to my family.
I see.
Because if my family are well and safe and well placed and able to survive the rigorous ardors of the future, then I also am fulfilled and happy in that sense of having had fulfilled my duties.
Right.
Surely you understand these things, Darla. I do
I
forget how
understand
young
duty.
you are.
I do understand duty.
Of course. And how have you been finding it among the clerics? You still with the Daughters of Twilight, I assume? They're still preoccupying your time?
Preoccupied. I have made many vows, Illavarra. This is how I understand duty. I have duty to the Order and to our cause.
I see. Well, Father doesn't think much of the daughters. You do understand that, right?
Yes, I do understand that.
I do not suspect that he will see your affiliations with that order as your primary duty. And my question to you, Darla, is where do your loyalties lie? You should think about that. She turns and she says, "Come, we need to go." And she drags her attendants off. At that point, you see a number of servants who you recognize here before, and some of them nod to you, Gudael, because they recognize you also. And then you hear a door open from above, and down the stairs to the side comes Aelar. And he looks at you with wild eyes for a moment, and he just beckons you.
Okay. Gudael allows herself to be beckoned.
Right, so you follow his call. Adrik and Orikaw?
Mm-hmm.
What doeth thee?
I goeth with the lady. She is my assignment until she says otherwise, or until somebody says otherwise.
All right. And,
Following, I don't want to be left alone in this place.
all right. It's the worst dungeon you've ever been in.
I fucking hate this house.
All right. So You follow off into this private room. It's a library with a domed ceiling and high windows of stained glass. There's chandeliers hanging from the ceiling of beautiful elven crystals. And Aelar points to the door and points to you, Adrik, like suggesting, yeah, please shut the door.
He does so.
And Aelar comes over to Gudael. He says, are you all right?
I'm all right. I'm breathing.
Well, certainly, this is appalling. I cannot
Yes.
believe that Father would try to attempt to do this to you under these circumstances, with Ren in the Sufferance and all of this business going on, this word of war. They say the army is reaching the walls of Vaingate now.
It does seem odd and perhaps a bit desperate. What is the ends?
The ends of this desperate move from Father, do you think?
Yes.
I can't say. Only that he seems to be hell-bent on controlling you.
Controlling me.
It seems to be the case, yes.
So this is not about controlling the Ariasis.
The Ariasis. Well, there is that too. Those two objectives seem to go perfectly well hand in hand at present, it seems.
Okay. I think, Aelar, that our plan is to go along with the wedding planning as far as we can.
So you will meet this young lad?
I will play lip service to this whole process. I don't know when the wedding date is meant to be set.
It will be soon, I can assure you. I've heard talk among the ladies of the house, mother and our sister, of a date sometime in the summer, which is not far. It is the Festival of the Wheel now, so it's less than 3 months.
Less than 3 months. Right, okay, so that's a little bit of time.
Good to hear, Leith, that you're attempting to get back onto the call now. Yay! Yes.
So yes, I'll play lip service, and we have a plan to get into the Sufferance.
You've got a plan.
We do. Perhaps it's not safe to discuss matters here.
Certainly, probably not safe to discuss matters here. Very well, we probably should leave this now. Is there anything else you want to disclose while we're here?
We may be in need of a potion.
A potion? What sort of potion? Potions are not my specialty.
Are they not? I thought they were. We need a potion that would make someone appear dead.
This would be Ren, I assume.
The less you know, the less you can,
Yes, of course. All right, very well. I shall source something, and I'll bring it to you as soon as I have it.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome, of course. It's not just for me. I mean, Ren and I, we had our differences, but he is, despite being our adopted brother, he is our brother, and he has been brought up amongst us, and no matter how our father and the rest of our family have treated him, you and I have always known him to be true to us. He is a loyal friend, if nothing else.
Sure is. And Aelar,
Yes,
I
sister.
have reason to believe that if this marriage goes ahead, it could be catastrophic. It would set a chain of events that may be disastrous for Highbrook.
Steve Austin is coming back. He's coming back. Hang on. Where is he? Come on, Steve. Come on. A chain of events that could be catastrophic to Highbrook, to Hemiterith, you say? Or did you?
Yes.
You didn't say that, or I can't remember exactly what you said just
Yes.
now.
To Hemiterith, yes.
To Hemiterith. How would you know such a thing?
It's
Welcome back.
a feeling I got from a vision, so I don't know where you stand with my visions, but I have concerns.
Fair enough. Then I shall keep that in mind. Very well. I don't know what to say, Dala. I am ashamed to be a member of the Talandaran bloodline today.
That seems to be a catching sentiment. But perhaps I won't have to be part of them for much longer.
Why do you say that? Oh, marriage. You'll be an Ariasis.
Yes.
Sadly, you realize you'll be marrying down. I mean, despite the fact that the Ariasis are among the Highbrooks high families, but we are the Talandaran, and it's really second only to, well, there's the Imdrael, and there's the Erithani, but I suppose we're the third family.
Yes, I suppose so. If one cares about such things.
Yes. Well, good luck then, and I sadly send you now into the lion's den, for father, I am sure, is about to arrive. And so will his man, the Ariasis boy, whom you are set to be betrothed to.
Draeli?
Out of game. Let me just double check who we're talking about.
I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Draeli Geltariasis.
That's the one.
Right.
Draeli Gelt.
That was the oddest thing.
The oddest thing? Okay, so Leith, you have, I imagine then, not gone to go and study with Edryn. You've gone to visit Edryn to see if he's all right. And
yes.
And he is all right, so you've returned back here now.
Okay.
and at that point, the Streamlabs bot spits out, if you notice a technical issue in the stream, such as sound quality, etc., please mention it to us so we can fix it as soon as possible. Because
Excuse me, Mr. GM.
Yes, sir.
I think there's been a bit of a technical issue.
There does seem to have been the technical issue.
At least a few.
At least one.
At least one big fat one. Yes. Oh, don't forget to follow the stream though, however, or subscribe.
Also
if you're
true.
enjoying this content, we run live games on Friday nights at 7 p.m. plus 12 UTC. Just in case you hadn't noticed, because you're here right now. Excellent. Stating the obvious. All right, so Leith, you come into you are ushered into the library, and the door is shut and hushed tones are being had. And at that point, everyone's essentially getting ready to leave this room anyway and head on to the actual dining room, which we have over here. This is the dining room. So this is Orikaw. Rah, he's wearing wolf furs.
Rah.
Probably he's not actually wearing wolf furs. But you know, that's the only orc that I've got. Well, actually, it's not. That's the only vaguely appropriate orc. Here's Gudael. She's a, cleric with a shield and a sword in this case. And so forth. So I'm going to take out Edryn, because he's not there. Milford is also not there. Which leaves us with, who do we have? We have Leith. We have Orikaw, we have Gudael, and we have Adrik Fogdale. Right. And so you go about taking your places at the table. And it is, in fact, 10 o'clock. I think probably I'm going to wrap this up right here now that Steve's back.
Yeah. The irony of it.
The irony of it. And you guys all take your seats at the table. And assuming that Max Easy is back in next week, I don't believe there's any reason why he wouldn't be, then he will come rushing into the dinner late at that moment too. But we shall see. Anyway, I hope everybody had some fun despite our technical hiccups. I hope you enjoyed the evening.
Happy Friday the 13th.
Yes,
Thank
happy
you, Coral, just Coral.
Yeah, thank you very much for staying and sitting it out and listening to our nonsense.
That comment from Coral, just Coral, reminds me that we should probably set up the other half of the resurrection.
The other half of the resurrection.
Milford.
Right.
Ah,
Good.
right.
All
Bring
right.
back
So
Brixton.
let me get onto that. Okay, so stream is
Or
officially
question,
finished.
maybe we should give Brixton's soul some say in the matter some autonomy here.
Brixton's autonomy, Barry.
What?
What are your thoughts?
About what, I'm sorry?
Oh,
Do you want
Ono
Brixton back?
50 watching for the
Ha-
first time. Sorry, Ono 50 watching. I don't know how to say that, by the way. I'm just reading it as I see it.
I know who that is.
You know who that is?
Yep. I think we should. Yeah, I think we should pass it to Barry to make a decision as to whether Milford's soul wants to come back.
Well, Barry, we've had some conversations about this, and I think that at this point we didn't hit the popularity mark that we were sort of considering for having Milford be brought back by the audience, and I don't know whether that was a timing issue or what, but our discussions about this, we were considering bringing in a new character anyway. It wasn't originally going to be Orikaw, and so we have plans to break Ren out of prison, which may or may not come to fruition as at this point. So you really have to decide which of these 3 different characters you want to turn into your main character. We've talked about that, haven't we? So, do you want me to extend the resurrection challenge, or alternatively, you play Orikaw until such a time as you can potentially play a different character that you were planning to originally anyway?
Well, really, at the moment, Orikaw's, well, he's pretty much in it at the moment.
He is. He is.
He's pretty much in it at the moment, and he's essential.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and it would be confusing if I played 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that would just confuse the issue.
All right.
I could, but
You could. I know you could.
it would be confusing.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Huh.
at this time then, I am going to make an executive decision.
Well, I've
And-
got an idea.
You have an idea? Do you want to talk about your idea afterwards, or you want to bring it up?
Yeah,
now?
I'll talk about it afterwards with all of you.
Okay. Well, I'll hold off
Okay.
on that executive decision until the beginning of the next stream. And so, if you're watching, stick around next week. Come back next week and find out whether Milford Brixton survives, what happens to him, which character Barry is going to be playing. Because these are the kinds of crises that one finds oneself in when one does enough role-playing. Sooner or later, it's going to happen to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time tonight, and we shall say goodbye.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.
yeah, bye.